Welcome back, everybody, to the Spring 2023 LCS Challengers League promotion tournament, where we have seen perhaps the closest 2-0 towards a single team in a best-of-5, I think, of all time. AOE coming away with game number 2. Although, Beatdown, it looked like Maryville had angles to win, especially there in that early game.
They did. Part of it, too, is that their drafts so far have actually been really hard to play, in my opinion. The first game, much more than the second game, of course, because of the, forget about Olaf, that he exists sometimes. It happens to the best of us. That's fine. But in game 2, not only did that get through, but even though you had a lot of poke, I said it on the cast, your comp's really better for poking, trying to play to side because you have the Grand Starfall with the Pantheon. But we didn't see any of that whatsoever, or very minuscule chances for that, because they all really just went for team fights. And with a comp like that, it's really hard because you don't have something like a Rel, for example, that is just the go button.
Yeah, Rel was that Skytech engage around the Dragon Pit.
Which one?
I was about to say which one.
Oh my gosh, just so many of them. I mean,
there's a reason why we were hyping up Skytech right on the Rel. I mean, Skytech as a player, back when he was on Evil Geniuses Academy, it was a team that struggled. They had a lot of issues. Whenever Skytech was on things like Rel and Recon, that is always when we saw Evil Geniuses Academies win. It was always off the back of his engages, his leadership that he brings to the team, and this is something that I love seeing with AOE because it goes so well with how AOE are as a team. They like to fight. They like to skirmish. Put Skytech on something that wants to do that.
Yeah.
And it works so well. And I will give credit to Niles on the Pantheon. It had a couple of really, really good fights, trying to find angles, find flanks, trying to single out some of those key members for AOE, but the late game came through and there was double marksman on AOE side, and it just did not look good for them. And they are now one game away for retaking their spot in the NACL for the summer 2023 split. And because there's potentially only one game left, we gotta give some extra motivation to our players on our Rally Cry halftime show for a little segment that we like to call This Is Your Moment. We're gonna give each of our teams a little bit of a pep talk. They're back in the locker room getting ready for the draft and everything like that. We need to motivate them to really perform. For AOE, we want them to close out this series in a 3-0 fashion. And if you're trying to hype up Maryville, of course, we want to have them go for the reverse sweep. However, it's not just your ordinary pep talk section. There are a couple of stipulations and wheel fashion we will go here for this speech.
What?
So each of you will pick, the wheel will pick for each of you
last time, Magical?
one specific scenario,
but I forgot.
and also one specific word that you have to use in your speech. Does this make sense?
Okay.
Yes, it does.
Okay, so Beatdown, we're going to start for you. You're going to be trying to convince Maryville to really take that next step. Are you ready to spin the wheel?
I'm ready to spin the wheel. Let me see it.
Here we go. There's some fun ones here, I think. So let's take a look.
This is the phrase I have to include, right?
Yes. Oh no. So this is the scenario. So the scenario here is in the speech. In the middle of it, you notice somebody's like making some good barbecue or something in the background.
Yeah.
You're getting a little distracted. Okay. And then here's your phrase that you have to include at least once in your speech.
Please be Korean barbecue. It would be so easy.
Rally Cry halftime
Ooh,
show.
area of effect. Okay, so
nice.
I have a stipulation here. It's area of effect, but you cannot use it in terms of the context of the name. Does that make sense?
Damn it.
So you can't just say like, oh, we're playing against area of effect. That's too easy. You gotta use it like the league term when you have like the AOE CC. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right, floor's all yours, Beatdown. Maryville's down 0-2. What are you saying to them?
All right, boys, listen up. I know you're down 2-0. It doesn't feel good. Right, like you guys were the best team in qualifiers, right? What is that? and you guys got 240 out of 250 points. I mean, you're a team that a lot of people believe to make it into the Challengers League. And you could do that. You could prove that right here and now with a reverse sweep. And I mean, look, I was criticizing the draft going into that next game. It's fine. The game's over. Now you're playing best of ones until you win it out. And I need to see a lot of champs with area of effect spells. Make sure they don't know what is going to hit him. I need to know what that's cooking. So get in there, guys. I'll be back.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
I was almost convinced that somebody's whipping someone up in the background over there.
That was the goal. That was the goal.
Oh, my.
I was dying.
All right, so nice job, Beatdown. Magical, your turn now. You're wearing the gold, so we're gonna have you root for AOE gold. Is that all right?
True.
Yeah. Whatever you wanted me to do, boss.
All right, this is your scenario right here. Oh, I love. Oh, I'm so happy that Magical got this one.
This is perfect.
You have zero control of your arms. They're moving
You wrote
anyway.
this for him.
So normally.
Yeah. Okay. This is good. Yes. Okay. Here's your word. I've taken out the area effects. You can't get the same one twice.
I'm just hoping that, because I'm totally not going to use my arms.
Hey.
Showstopper.
I hope that it just doesn't smack my mic.
Is there a stipulation for that one, or it doesn't matter?
No. Just anything. Kind of like you're stealing the show away from somebody.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, because it's also Set's ultimate.
I'm not gonna use it that way.
We're not going to talk about that. Magical, the floor's all yours.
All right. So we're gonna flop around. We're gonna loosen up. You know, we got a 2-0 lead right now. It's easy peasy. You guys, all you have to do is take this next game, right? It's gonna be easy going. All you have to do is make sure that you stop the show. You're the showstoppers here, right? We're gonna get a 3-0. All you have to do is cleanly fight these ones out and just have everything go your way. But Winnie, keep playing aggressively. Just keep doing everything you're doing possible. It's just everything that you're doing right now is great. And Quackers, you know what? You played weak side that last game, and you did a great job in bouncing back into the game. I gotta give Lynx the most credit though, because after game 1 was shaky. Was a little worried that how things were gonna go, but then you were able to fight around with SkyTech so well. And SkyTech, we're gonna put you on more engages, okay? It's going to be an easy 3-0 from here. You guys are going to get back into the summer, and we are going to dominate when we're there.
This is literally like, I feel like I'm at a car dealership and someone's just, and the tube thing is just waving its arms and a recorded message is playing. And I'm just like, what?
I kind of heard what you were saying, Magical, but I was also looking at those arms.
I was looking at the arms, man. Like, I didn't know they moved like that. Damn.
Oh man. All right. Well, hopefully AOE they'll have more control over their arms, you know, for this third game.
I did like that one. That was
we're gonna go to the last one. I'm gonna give this one a roll here, if that's all right. I will be.
I'm so happy I got the arms one.
That was immense. That was
I'll be cheering for
built
Maryville
you.
here. Okay. So
That's just
All right.
okay.
Okay, I was kind of hoping I didn't get that one when I started to...
You could just spin it again. You're the boss.
No, it's all good. Okay, Korean barbecue.
He gets Korean barbecue.
This is the one that you wanted, Beatdown. Okay, I'm trying to...
I wanted it when we were talking about food.
All right, I'm trying to hype up Maryville. I'm gonna...
You can do this.
Guys, this is not the best thing to go for here.
And it more sounds like he doesn't realize his microphone is like not by his face.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where like when we're ready for prep tech, we're like, hey, are you muted?
Yeah, and it's like he has the microphone like this, you know, just up by his head. So it's like,
I'll tell you what, he's passionate. He's feeling what he's saying. Damn, he's looking to point like that.
yeah.
Jeez. I'm feeling it. I don't even know what he
I
said.
had no idea. It was motivational, wasn't
I'm
it?
hyped up, man. I don't know. Like you got maybe it was like an AOE pep talk, you know, because I'm feeling it now. It wasn't even meant for me.
I hope that did you see the flipping, the cooking I was doing?
Nope.
I had to reference that
okay,
a little bit as well. I'm excited for hopefully the extra motivation that we put into those two teams there with our speeches, whether you
they're
can hear
listening
them or not. Maryville though, we gave them 2 speeches because they have 2 more games that they have to win in a row in order for them to have the opportunity to stay alive in this series. AOE Gold.
I mean, they have 2 chances to tie it up. They have 3 if they want to win.
That's what he said.
Something like that. Math doesn't work in my head very well. Draft is ready for game number 3, guys. Floor's all yours. Have a good time.
All right. Well, we'll have fun, you know, just...
Yeah. Magical, the prompt is over, okay?
All right.
It's okay.
let's get into this one because
right.
we actually have Maryville going back on to the red side for this game. Very interesting to see, especially because last game, it felt like they had a better game plan when it came to early into the game. They were able to attack the top side very well, made it hard for Quackers to really do much, but the problem was that Quackers wasn't the threat in that game. It was Darkwings and Lynx stepping up in that game. So when I look at the draft here, I see that Tristana already taken away from Darkwings, not too surprised.
I'm really wondering, given AOE clearly have done their homework here, and we could just see that Olaf blinded again on 3 for Quacker here, even though they're on blue side. So Maryville really need to think about whether or not they're going to continue letting that one through. Of course, wasn't as impactful in game 2 as it was game 1, but he had some good team fights where, again, you're pressuring the AD carry in Scary Jerry. He has to flash. He's playing something like Navarez. You can't let an Olaf get on top of you here, and there it is. They're just going to get it out of the picture. And like, this is the moment you can't slip up on these things. Maryville, their backs are against the wall right now. Remember, winner gets promoted to NACL in summer. And of course, the loser has an opportunity to play again to win it out. But really, being that first team to punch your ticket is what both of these teams want so bad.
And it also is a great statement going into the summer, right? Being like,
yeah,
not only were we able to dominate in the promotion tournament, but now we are looking like a team that is not even going to have to deal with the summer promotion tournament. We are going to be the team that bounces back. We're going to be one of the two teams that plays well during the season. We're going to be having the story like Cincinnati Fear and Wildcard did before.
Right, and now, wow, we even see the Cassante ban. So 2 bans in the first rotation, 2 top lane against Quackers. Not something you see very often, but Quacker, being that newer player, at least this year, we had previously seen a few years prior, has now kind of earned that respect. And AOE, they're just going to go for the first pick on the Elise. Winnie had a really good early game last time around, but what? Talk to me, Alex.
Maokai has made it through. This is the first draft that we've seen in this series where Maokai hasn't been banned by either side. So this is something Maryville, they have played before, and it's something that Orange could easily play here as they grab that forest again for Scary Jerry. But I expect to see, you don't have to grab the Maokai here. If you really want to grab something like that, Rakan for Psycho first.
You can leave that one up. That Zaya is banned. So, okay, actually, you could probably just grab the support now that you mention it, because realistically, jungle's already picked. You don't have to worry about that one getting snatched away from you. So they're just going to go ahead and take that one immediately. That bot lane that did so much work in the laning phase in game 1, and whoa, now it's Lynx and Skytech throwing down the gauntlet, saying that we're going to play Lucian Nami.
They've been kind of bullied in a lot of these lane phases so far. So this game, they're saying, you know what? We're not just going to scale up. We are going to be the ones that try to dictate a lot of how this lane phase is going to go. We're going to be the ones very aggressive in it. So that way, when he can play more towards the top side, again, really focus on how they want to build up Quacker, especially because Quacker isn't going to be on that Olaf like the previous 2 games.
Yeah, and something worth noting, too, this is the first kind of I want to say normal draft we've seen so far. In that, I mean that usually it's always like support, bot lane basically, and jungle is picked up here. But this time, but in the last couple of games, it's been a lot of solo lane picks, this, that, and the third. So this time around, although Niles could still play Lee Sin, is a little more normal. And now we're going to see bans towards the solo lane, with the exception of Vi, because again, AOE respecting that Niles can pick up this Lee Sin.
And I wonder if they just ban Maokai for the same reason. They're like, you know, we're gonna force the hand here. We're gonna make sure that this is going to go into the jungle. We're not gonna have to worry about it. But Maryville doubling up on Darkwing's bans here. That Cassiopeia taken away. A very big answer, because Darkwing, yeah, that's what I was about to say. The Rise really rising up in priority here, and this is something that Getback, I think it's one of his most played champions in his entire career.
I've seen him play it quite a bit here, but instead, okay, could be the LeBlanc as well. And it really solidifies to me that it's going to be Lee Sin in the jungle if that's locked in. We know this to be a very strong mid-jungle 2v2, and even though Elise is really strong in the early game, now there's that pressure onto Darkwings. Get a mid laner that can also be able to fight mid lane. That would be so cool if he could actually run it, but we're just having a little fun here.
Yeah. You see the fizz, you're like, okay, they're
they need a skirmishing mid though.
They do need that, and I'm kind of looking at like Silas, even though it's not the best ults that you could really take here. It's something Darkwings does like to play a lot, and here they grab Renekton first for Quacker. A lot of potential to duel in this top lane. Oh, wait a minute.
Could it be?
Oh, no. Okay. No. Okay.
We're just cycling across all
I was getting
the potential answers.
right. I'm like looking at this. I'm like, the Poppy actually is a really fun answer into LeBlanc, but Lissandra does make more sense here.
Yes.
It's Poppy's just a fun one, right? It's not an actual real one. It's just fun.
That's the magical response here.
Yeah.
But, you know, actual good players, they want to take something a little bit better, like the Lissandra, which is what we're seeing here, like you mentioned. So the thing worth noting, this is Quacker's first game off the Olaf, but it is Renekton Elise, so still a lot of power onto this top side, and I imagine there's going to be a lot of fighting to be able to see what they can get done on that side of the map. Rift Herald has been so big both games for AOE, and why they've been able to snowball these early leads, and looking at the comp that they have, that's still very much possible. Maryville this time around, though, they have the ability to actually contest that.
They do, and I'm picking Niles, that Pantheon again. The Olaf, you know, you hit him a couple times, you get this Pantheon ahead early on into the game, eventually Olaf is still going to bounce back in.
Yes.
Renekton, not really so forgiving if you fall behind here. And I like this from Maryville, especially because they attack the top lane so heavily. But this time around, I'm looking at Winnie. I'm looking at Odd Orange. We were highlighting them at the beginning of the day, these two very aggressive junglers. And I'm looking towards Winnie trying to play around the top lane again to really make sure that they can reign in control around Maryville, the one lane that they can play around and have played around throughout the entirety of the open qualifiers and deny Maryville even the shot of taking a game over them.
And already we're seeing the tweets roll in, calling it, we go the distance all 5 games. Respect, Yanni. That's what we all want to see, of course, here. But AOE, it's been pretty consistent from them so far. And they're, again, in a position where they can close this series out. But this comp actually doesn't scale as well compared to Maryville's, in my opinion. There's a lot of early game focus, especially on that top side with the Renekton Elise. But even you look at Lynx and Skytech, they also need to really step up in this game. And because if they start to fall behind, it's actually going to be really difficult for AOE to really play a lot of these team fights and contest a lot of these objectives.
Lynx and Skytech, like I said, they've been bullied around through the entirety of this series in lane by Scary Jerry and Psycho. So here, really would like to dish back what has been served to them, as well as a bot lane. Lynx and Skytech have had a very interesting journey, you know, starting over with Western Ontario and then joining up with AOE with Winnie, and how they have really worked as a duo. Because I mentioned how Skytech is one of these players I love to watch on a lot of these engaged champions.
Yeah.
But Lynx is someone who tends to play a bit more passively. He's much more about the team fights, a little bit disjointed with how Skytech tends to play. But I feel like over the season, these two have really started to look like a good cohesive unit, especially with how Skytech likes to make sure he sets up Lynx.
And it's even better when you think about, too, that AOE, I mean, specifically Winnie and Skytech, I mean, we know they have played on University of Western Ontario with Lynx, but also more recently with St. Louis, and I mean, even recently playing against Maryville and not having as great a showing. So it really is something that Winnie on a team where, one, he obviously has so much say when it came to making this roster, and even with the addition of Quacker that we're talking about, that they are having that much better showing here. And it is in part because of that experience that you mentioned.
Oh, and Winnie showing up into the bot lane. The Western Ontario group looking for the revenge on Maryville, getting early leads and getting an early flash out of Zyko.
Still, it ends up just being the flash for flash. I favor Maryville in that trade because, one, you have this Rakan where you are pretty mobile as a support. You don't have to exactly hard commit. You can W, you can E out. Lynx, on the other hand, he had to flash because Zyko found that angle. And Odd Orange hasn't made his way bot side. He's just showing up there. So there's the opportunity for Odd Orange to actually go for a kind of punish here. I don't even think Winnie saw him. It could just be walking his way down here, and there could be a play.
Yeah, look at that. Zyko. Oh, will be spotted out. There it is. The blast cone from Winnie. Does notice that Odd Orange had path all the way down here, but Winnie's still playing very aggressively. Bot lane is in favor of AOE, so they can roam up, but Zyko is the first one on the raid. He's the first one over on the other side to help defend Odd Orange the best he can, but they still gotta be so cautious.
Oh, the double
because
bubble.
nice double bubble right there. And no flash from Zyko.
Wow.
He leaves out Odd Orange. Odd Orange had flash, he could have gotten out of there, but he just didn't. And now Get Back showing up on the other side, but jumped on him by
Blaze is
Winnie.
here.
And the follow-up, the claw gets the flash out of Get Back.
Early game in game 3, still coming up AOE gold. They keep finding these early skirmishes, what they love to play and how they love to play. And now they get to collect their rewards. When he takes the Gromp, gonna be able to walk away and take the Scuttle. And they got that early gold onto Lynx, which feels so good considering you flashed earlier. This Lucian Nami is coming online very soon.
And it's not around the play in the lane that I expected for AOE either, or even from Maryville. It's about this bot lane, utilizing the Lucian Nami priority they have, and even Darkwings, that he was able to roam up at the same time Get Back did, so they can punish Odd Orange and try to really contain the player who's playing his most played champion in his entire career.
Right, and that means that we still can't discount what Odd Orange is going to be able to do. Still a lot of early game opportunities for this Lee Sin to be able to make it happen. And that comfort, Niles played Lee Sin fine, all things considered. But when you have that jungler who's been playing this champion for years upon years, that value that Odd Orange is going to be able to bring to these team fights, get those kicks onto Lynx like Niles did previously, is what to really look for.
This is going back in Odd Orange's career, back to when he was in the academy, on Echo Fox Academy,
Wow,
Team
that's
Liquid
deep.
Academy. That's how long he's been playing this champion for. Now, trying to save the bot lane, barely doing so, keeping Scary Jerry and Zyko alive.
And Winnie, you know that it's so important for you to get the ball rolling on this early game. He's only cleared his bot side, a bit of Odd Oranges, and has just been constantly ganking the bot lane. It's so important to be able to get this Lucian Nami online. They're ignoring the whole Renekton Elise combo here, and it's kind of playing against the expectations, because I see this top lane, Niles is like, all right guys, 3-wave crash, they're coming to dive me, but Winnie hasn't even gone to the top side yet. He's about to do so for the first time.
Right, it's very surprising to see from both sides of the equation. You'd expect to see that Elise wants to play around that, but Odd Orange too, looking to really get the snowball rolling for Niles, like he has done all throughout the open qualifiers, all throughout even the promotion tournament thus far. But here, letting him have the island for quite some time, and only now is Odd Orange showing up into the top lane.
And I will say Niles naturally getting quite the advantage here in the 1v1. When Quacker is not on the Olaf, isn't quite as comfortable, but also, to be fair, that's got to be a tough one for the Renekton here. Still should have a lot of pressure come Rift Herald time so far in lane, especially with that Serrated Dur. Niles, he's having a good time at the moment here. And I'm watching Winnie. He's clearing those top camps, but I'm thinking Quacker's on an island this game, Magical, and it's just going to be him. All right, top camps are cleared. See ya, Quacker. I'll miss ya. And just starts walking his way down bot side.
And that's what he's doing. He's on his way down towards the bottom side of the map. Quacker, you die, it doesn't matter. As long as you can get that Lucian ahead is really going to be the game plan here for AOE. Really putting things in to how Lynx and SkyTech are going to carry this game.
Speaking of, you can see that they got a little bit of a lead going in terms of CS. They have a kill too. And Winnie, as expected, he's back. Remember, no flash on Scary.
Doesn't even hesitate. He flashed for it too. Gets the cleanse out of Scary Jerry early on. Has to use the repel though, because he did take a lot of damage from the poke.
This pressure is insane though. Scary Jerry, Zyko have been pretty free in the 2v2 to just lane and find advantages naturally, which is what we usually see them do on this Maryville squad throughout the qualifiers. But this time, Winnie, he is pressuring them like you wouldn't believe. He just keeps on showing up. He has his bot camps to clear, and I bet it's going to be right back to that bottom side. Even pick up Dragon #1, because you have this pressure bot.
Especially for Scary Jerry and Zyko, this has been a duo that is so used to winning lanes. This is a duo that has been drafted for Maryville, as you talked about, to be the dominant laners. Their team fights have been all right, but it's really about the leads they gain early on so that Niles can get a lot of attention from Odd Orange early into the games. This time around, they're not getting that. Even if they are keeping up the best they can against Lynx and SkyTech, they're not in that position of power that then can back up Odd Orange when they look for the dragon plays like they normally set up.
Speaking of, Quacker going for that nice trade, sets up for the Rift Herald there, forces Niles out, forces him to back, while the rest of AOE go for the Rift Herald. Such a big objective for these last 2 games for AOE Gold, and they're going to be able to get that one again unless Odd Orange can get back. No kick on Odd Orange.
Niles has the Starfall. That's going to be it. Channeling it. Backline access. Gets the stun onto Quackers, but it's going to be the Frozen Tomb onto Odd Orange, locking him down as Quacker slices and dices away. But Niles has a lot of damage. Flashed out of there. Got to get the stun. Got to get the root. Got to get the damage. And Maryville turn it back with a flash away from Darkwings.
And not only that, they stop the Herald from going through. Even though Odd Orange can't get it, they managed to slow things down, really punishing the fact that Quacker had to use the ult to force Niles away. So AOE, it doesn't come as easily to them here, but they still have another opportunity to go up top and try to contest for the Herald again.
The big problem are that Niles and Getback, each of them getting a kill in this play, denying the Rift Herald take for AOE as well, even if Odd Orange does fall.
Yeah, and it was a nice call. Remember, Quacker, the big thing about Renekton is that ultimate and the extra health and everything it gives. Still, they managed to burst down Odd Orange, take him out of the picture, but Darkwings is low mana. Winnie lost almost all his health in one fell swoop, and at this point, it was just never gonna happen.
No. And with no mana for Darkwings either, he had flashed out of there just to survive. 2-for-1 exchange, Maryville favored. But unfortunately for them, they still don't have the firm control on the map. The AOE are still the ones dictating the pace of the game, like we have seen throughout this series. And throughout AOE's early game, this is a team that loves to skirmish right out of the gates and are always forcing the hands of Maryville, a team that is so used to having control through the early game.
Right, and it's because of what they're able to get naturally, because of their laners. And you look at this roster through the qualifiers, naturally, just watching some of the tape, they're able to get CS leads, get gold leads naturally. And when that doesn't happen, they start to struggle a little bit, it looks like here. The AOE, they've been playing well, playing the map better, and just out team fighting them outright for the most part. And it's culminated into this 2-0 scoreline that we see. It's culminated into Maryville having their backs against the wall at the moment here in this series, and about to get sent to lower bracket.
That's as long as they drop this game and it's a 3-0 sweep for AOE, that's what's going to happen. But Maryville, when you have your backs up against the wall as a team, you'll do everything. Anything and everything. Fight as scrappy as possible. Tooth and nail. Never forfeit. Never give up. Because they want to get into the Challengers League.
Right.
We talked about them as a program, a collegiate program, and how they don't like to even consider themselves purely and merely a collegiate program. They are a team that are
really
here
nice
to compete as Link SkyTech overstay their welcome and are forced away. The flash from SkyTech barely surviving. There's a flash.
Oh, nice!
What a snipe from Scary Jerry!
That is a much needed play here, and even with Darkwings coming through, this isn't playable anymore. You need to leave.
Yeah, you gotta leave. They get the chains, they get more poke from Scary Jerry, Darkwings, and Winnie. We're gonna be pushed back towards their turret with 3 members of Maryville still remaining in the bot lane to escort the minions into the tower.
Really nicely done by Scary Jerry and Zyko. Now he's got 2 kills to his name just like that, and it started here. You saw the culling. Scary Jerry's like, oh, I can just keep walking down. It's chill. And it's perfect. Once he knows Zyko is on the way, there is no way with the Chains of Corruption coming out for Lynx to dodge this. And as soon as you lose the Lucian, who had quite a strong lead, it's over. And props to Scary. Nice little flash Q here for a little style.
Max range too. Nicely
And
done.
through someone too, because it does reduce damage when it passes another champion.
Well done there from Scary Jerry. And hey, I was talking about how the lane phase, they were getting punished, they were getting focused on, yet Scary Jerry and Zyko survived it all. They never once dropped. They've kept even with CS, and now they I might have to eat my words there. It's now Lynx and SkyTech show up into the bot lane, and Scary Jerry does get a lot of damage.
Oh, he didn't dodge it.
Does dodge it, but can he get one more poke? Waiting it out, waiting out the cooldown.
Need to land the Q.
Tries to get it, but it's not enough.
That really needed to happen here. They want to play for Herald, but Lynx is too low. Look who's walking. Get Back is here. Odd Orange is here. And it means that Rift Herald play is just not able to happen. In fact, oh,
That's a great
Zyko.
entrance. They do get the root, but guess who's here? Get Back looking for Lynx, but Lynx will survive.
Oh my God, he
barely
lives.
didn't take that last tick of the passive.
And that unfortunately closes the door on a potential Herald play, at least on the bottom side here for Lynx and Skytech, because look at the eye. It's about to expire pretty soon here, unless Winnie drops it and Lynx and Skytech just opt to stay because Scary Jerry's recalled. That's actually, all right, I kind of like this call. You know they're on recall, and you're trying to hope to get it out, but Maryville responds, so only Winnie is getting these plays.
Yeah, only Winnie's going to get them, and the rest of AOE not going to gift it over to Lynx like they would have liked to. And it's only 2 plates. It's not even like they get that much.
Right, it is a nice bit of gold. I mean, at least you want to get ahead, so that's something to be happy about. But like you said, it's not as much as you want. And Maryville, especially the bot lane of Scary Jerry and Zyko, they've done a good job of shutting down what AOE wants to do in these last couple of minutes.
Shutting them down, keeping them pinned down, even getting a little bit of poke and forcing back some of the lanes that normally are really difficult, like that mid lane for LeBlanc into Lissandra, since Lissandra can wave clear pretty effectively, and as LeBlanc, you don't really get to do much. But all the while, because you're still getting these advantages, it allows that once Link shows back up into the spot lane, you get a lot of poke on him initially, so he's even more threatened to step out.
So we're at this point now that the game is still pretty even. We're really starting to come online, particularly as AOE's bot lane. Lucian Nami, that Mythic, is the big spike we're looking for here. And the Gale Force and the Imperial Mandate is online, so expect to see a lot of burst damage come through from this bottom lane. That's why Winnie is still here on this side of the map. Again, consistently ignoring his top camps, pretty much. So now they're going to look for this opportunity, potentially take down this bot tier 1 turret. And if they do so, they're going to be able to kind of rotate Lynx around the map, be able to give him more gold elsewhere.
Top lane truly does not exist in this game.
It's not real.
It truly
We barely
is
panned
fake.
the camera up there.
We panned it, I think, for the Rift Herald, and that's about it.
Yeah.
And otherwise, it does not exist. There is no top lane. Ignore anything that has been told to you otherwise, because spot lane is where it really matters, especially with the next dragon spawning up in Maryville. This is something that they did in the previous game, early dragon stacking, to really try to gain control, especially against this early comp that AOE have drafted. As long as they can gain control over this next one as well, it continues that timer and gets them stronger, while AOE will eventually fall off.
Still have some time before that happens. Ooh, plays like this, though, could accelerate that. Maryville, they have that vision advantage. You can see how tough it is for AOE, but they've rotated the whole team. They know they need to start stacking dragons. They know it needs to start right now. Get Back has the angle. They know he's there, but he could still blow somebody up.
Looking for Lynx, getting a little bit of damage, only tickling him. As the dragon has been started up by Maryville. Knife's edge between both teams. Control. Maryville would like to get the second one
Darkwings
and get themselves in a perfect position. But like you said, Darkwings, he's been spotted. He's been marked. He's going to be stunned. Can't even take a call. I know he can. And he's rooted. Has to go golden. As Odd Orange is going to be the first casualty in the fight. With the slow getting the cleanse away. Waiting it out. Get Back still has not been able to dive back into the back line and look for any of the squishy members.
Wow.
Got a lot of poke.
Watch Zyko.
Jerry. Flash in. They've taken down Elise. They've got the root. They've got the stun. The flash away from Get Back.
Wow.
As he looks for Darkwings, but he's got to be careful. Flash in for Quackers. Gets the clones out as Get Back still hafting back to the team. Not going to get the re-engage from Zyko. Wait, that is a grand starfall. Looking for the squishy members. Taking down
they're
one.
getting them all.
Where's the comic spear? Double kill for Niles.
And Maryville have broken the game wide open, and it starts here. Darkwings, one gets spotted out by Niles immediately. Takes so much of his health before he can really get the root down. They still blow up Odd Orange, but you can see the poke here from this Varus, who is so fed. And as soon as this Q goes through, they're making the call. They're like, hey, this is super winnable. Get Back even flashes for it, and it secures them the
And
trade.
Get Back. They just found a nice route there onto Quacker, so not only do they get the second dragon, but they get a free croc for it.
Yeah, this is a very difficult game now for AOE to be able to play. You were really hoping for the dragon stacking to come through. Use that advantage you had bot lane initially. Now they aren't able to do so. Even with Lynx hitting that second item spike, we're seeing how Maryville can actually win out on these team fights. And now they're halfway to a soul. They've got almost 1,000 gold lead, and it's all in the right places if you look at these kills.
I mean, you got gold for Scary Jerry, gold for Niles, gold for Get Back as well. We got to take a look at this, and even if Get Back is slightly behind Darkwings, that's purely because of the CS. Like you said, they've got gold into right allocations, right places. Scary Jerry, even if he's only slightly behind Lynx, that's a Varus into Illusion lane. You expect the Varus to be so far behind.
Oh.
No-oh.
Well, that sounded cool.
That's like no-oh. You have a Pantheon there, a calling. You just put up the wall and say, yeah, no.
Yeah, really easy to eat up some of the poke that AOE even have on their side. Only saving grace, they have this Rift Herald here, going to be able to knock down more structures. There's a lot of easy gold for them to pick up. At the moment, the only gold is looking to be Quacker.
Yeah, Quacker dashes away though. We'll be fine, still has that turret. It's not quite a long lane. But Getback has been getting a lot of free time in the bot lane. So picking up that gold for this LeBlanc, like I talked about, even if he goes slightly behind that of Darkwings, having the kill, already having that Ludens completed as well, and now getting some turret gold for Getback to be even more of a nuisance. You can assassinate someone like Lynx or Skytech very effectively now.
Now things are slowing down just a little bit. Maryville still have that slight lead, but we talked about AOE being the team that fall off a little bit as time goes on. And this Renekton Elise haven't had as much success as they hoped in the early game. Now Quacker's looking for something.
Looking for the fight, but Niall, he's
teleport.
got 3 kills, and he's got a lot of damage. You think that you're the croc that can snap back, but you're the one bopped on the head for a double kill out of Getback. While Skytech and Lynx, you are on the wrong side. I don't know what you're doing here. You're dashing away. Skytech, he's forfeiting himself, saying, yeah, I know I'm dead. At least maybe I can divert a little bit of attention away from Lynx, but Lynx, they just need to follow up with one more chain, one more dash, the rampage for Getback.
And it's a 20-minute Baron for Maryville University. They are beginning the comeback as they shoot up to 2,500 gold roughly in their favor. And this Baron means it's going to be that much more. They get the early snowball this time, and it's off some good skirmishing this time around, normally attributed to AOE.
This is their largest lead that Maryville have had in this entire series now at nearly 4,000, 20 minutes into the game. Baron on top of their head. 10 stacks on the Dark Seal for Getback as well.
You talked about it, Alex. Maryville with their backs against the wall, wanting to get into Challengers League. What they would be willing to do to make it happen. This game around, they got the draft that they wanted. They've gotten the early game that they wanted. And now they have to be the ones to just continue. What are we laughing at?
Magi's, baby!
Oh, yeah. I mean, look at Getback. He's 4-0-5. He can just keep doing it.
That's why I called out the 10 stacks on that Dark Steel. He upgraded it. He's got the chapters now, and this LeBlanc is already difficult enough to kill. And I'm just waiting to see the damage that is unleashed anytime he steps forward, like right there onto Winnie, as he jumped onto Zyko. Not really the target you want to look for, as you had to flash away and Getback follow that up. But he's got to be so cautious. Took way too many turret shots as Quacker is on the other side, and is looking for Getback. But Getback breaking his ankles, baby, with a double kill. That's Darkwings 2 enters the fray, but you can't touch him.
He's still here.
He's untouchable, and he's just like, what are you going to do? I'm going to dive back in, and we're going to kill you.
Oh my god! Maryville just keep coming out on top. They keep picking up gold, they keep picking up kills, and now they're gonna make use of this Baron buff. Take another structure, and they're set up to pick up their soul point as soon as they reset. It's gonna be a little late, but the Baron buff makes it up for it, and now it's Getback. 20 pages in the BM book at 6-0-6. He is the driver. He is the pilot. Maryville, every play with Getback at this point is winning.
But still, you know, you gotta end the game. That is always the important factor. Too many times have I seen a team get this far ahead, and then things just get crazy, especially against AOE. The team that are kings of skirmish, kings of fighting whenever possible. Doesn't matter if they're 10K ahead or 10K behind. AOE will always look for fights.
It's looking like Maryville, the ones to also keep looking. You have this gold lead. You want to keep the pressure on.
Yes.
Even though the kick didn't work out, you force Quacker off this bottom tier 2 turret. You get another nice chunk of gold into your pockets. And I like that they didn't even start the dragon yet. They can do it whenever they want, but instead they choose to take more structures, make full use of that Baron buff, and just continue stacking gold into their back pockets. It's going to be an easy soul point.
This is something with Maryville that has been praised throughout the open qualifiers. Their macro as a collegiate team is unparalleled. So many times you see a lot of these collegiate programs, these collegiate teams, where they have really good mechanics, really good skills, but then sometimes they just fumble it when it comes to how can they clean out the games, how can they end these games. Not Maryville. Maryville have always been a team that understand where they need to play, how they need to make sure they're driving these games, especially when they get leads like this.
Right, it just goes back to what we talk about with Maryville as a university, as a program. And what they do in esports here is not just League of Legends, but talking about League. Again, their their coach, talks about how it's about the consistency and growth of their players, and the fact that they've been able to do so much work in League of Legends, in CLOL for these last couple of years. North Conference champion 7 years in a row. They've been in 3 finals. They've won 2 of them. Like, the book is just filled with accomplishments here for Maryville, and you can see that really start to culminate. And again, why it would be so big for them to get into Challengers League, to be the first team to make it from the promotion tournament going into summer.
They have to take down AOE to do so, and we've seen how AOE have played throughout this entire series so far. Scrappy, tooth and nail, even in their victories, they have fought to the bitter end, and they were the ones who came out on top in the previous 2 bouts. Here in Game 3, it is they who have their back against the wall. Nearly 7,000 gold behind Maryville. They might have a little bit of cushion room when it comes to losing this game and still having more to play in order to cement their spot in the promotion. But at the same time, for AOE, as a team, as an organization, they talked about how they feel like they are better than the promotion tournament itself, that they should be back in the NACL summer regardless, because that's how good of a team they are. The faltering here against Maryville, I wonder what that would do to the confidence of this team, who are very good, but also hold themselves in such high regard.
We've seen bounce backs before, but of course it isn't over yet. Maryville in a really strong position at the moment here. We were looking at the gold earlier. Get Back having a tremendous lead over Darkwings. Niles is in a really great position as well. You can see it. This LeBlanc and Pantheon, so very strong. Get Back and Niles this whole series so far haven't been able to do as much, partially because of the drafts that Maryville found themselves in. Now they have the opportunity to excel and lean on their play, and you can see where it's gotten them. 5-0 on Pantheon, 6-0 on this LeBlanc. Get Back really earning the title of the best player coming out from the qualifiers.
With 20 chapters in the Magi's as well, really is putting on the carry performance here in Game 3. As Maryville are dotting the I's, crossing the T's at the moment, playing this one very cautiously. Make sure that they don't give any control back on the map to AOE. Slowly, they are getting all their lanes in a state where they can slowly push back. They know the Baron now spawning up. They don't even want to give room for AOE to try to sneak in there and steal it away.
This is what we praise Maryville for. The gameplay they've shown throughout qualifiers, that macro ability to play the map really well. They did so in their last series, and they're really showing us here in Game 3. Get Back!
And he already used Distortion. That could be a huge pick. Flashing away, but he's shut down by Lynx. That's a big pick for AOE. But they do have Winnie taken down by Scary Jerry on the other side.
There's a lot of gold here, even without Get Back.
They get Crackers, they get Dominating. At least they do get something back on the map, Maryville, making sure that they lose one member, they can still fight back. The Darkwings now taking the claw away. Will be a trade of 2 for the 1. That is a lot of damage out of Scary Jerry. Maryville, even though it got a bit dicey there for a second, still are so far ahead.
We'll say that was a fat shutdown into the pockets of Lynx there. He already had the Infinity Edge and picked up what must have been 1,000 gold off the bat. Of course, you still have the Baron. You still have the numbers and the stats to take this one. It's still a big deal for AOE to be able to get that kind of gold and get a little breathing room on the map here. You can see it. I like that Maryville are waiting for Get Back to spawn so they get full use of the buff. But you can see what AOE have done. Set up some vision on this bottom side, gain some semblance of control, and being able to push out mid and get that space is super important because Maryville had them pushed in these last 5 minutes.
And that is an issue. You do not give any room to AOE. AOE are a team that are scrappy. They look for anything and everything. As Winnie, he is level 11. On Orange is 15. And look at that. That was a dead fish on the other side, and they're about to squash a spider as well.
Oh, that's a big misstep there. You're hoping someone walks on their own, but Maryville don't make mistakes like that, especially from so far ahead where you know that small mistakes like that are going to let AOE back into the game. So you still have the Baron to play with. You got the Dragon Soul now because no one's going to be able to contest it away from Odd Orange. It is still Maryville firmly in control of this game. We're seeing these little angles from AOE, but it's not enough. You need Maryville to slip up much more than what we saw from Get Back.
You got to kill Get Back like 2 more times. You got to kill Scary Jerry. You got to kill Niles.
Kill Niles,
well.
That would be nice.
A lot of these would be nice, but with the 3 stopwatches on the side of Maryville, as well as all this damage, the Baron buff on their side, Maryville are now knocking on the door of AOE. 3 lanes simultaneously attacked by Maryville. Again, their macro calls on how they can force the issue is forcing AOE to look for this play, getting the flash away from Scary Jerry, but that was so much committed and nobody died. They didn't even lose anything. As well, Niles denied Quacker from even joining in on anything on the other side.
You get 2 teleports out. I will say that's kind of worth. You were always going to lose this bottom tier 3 turret anyway, so getting something out of it is kind of a win. As long as nobody dies in the process, you guys are really scared me with how you're stepping up to this LeBlanc. Either way, inhibitor in the bot lane going down as expected, and in these next couple of minutes, it is going to be really tough with supers coming through, because even if the game goes long enough, Elder is on the map, and it will be really hard for AOE to push out that bottom wave. Wow.
SkyTech took half his health from 1 piercing arrow there.
Support life.
Yeah, that is support life right there. And now Chain of
they got
Corruption.
him!
And there's the snipe onto Winnie. They try to re-engage. They've got a lot of damage on one side. But guess who's here? It's Niles to save the day. Captain America coming through, flashing onto Lynx. Lynx nowhere to run. Even if you killed Zyko, what was the cost, AOE? Your entire base is the answer.
It cost them everything, Magical, and that's got to be it. We're long spawn timers, even with low health bars. They're just going to go and start knocking down on the inhibitor turrets. It's going to be, or the Nexus turrets. Quacker is here, full health, almost has the dominance. He's got to go big.
Yeah, even if you go big right now, you got the damage, but you get immediately turned into Croc shoes right there.
Close.
Maryville bouncing back here, game 3. It's a series. There's no shutdown. There's no sweep that Maryville will face today as they get a game 4 against AOE.
And what an astonishing comeback there from Maryville University. It really looked like they weren't going to be able to make it happen, but they got a good draft this time around in the second game, and really, like, Odd Orange and Get Back really stepped it up there, especially Get Back on this LeBlanc. He was all over the map looking for every roam timer available to him, and that was a big part of the influence Maryville had on the early game.
And with that, they get this at 2-1. Still, 2 more games for Maryville if they want to get themselves into the NACL summer, guaranteed over AOE. As AOE, they have the luxury. Just 1 more game, but like you said, it is a series. We got more games ahead of us. We're going to toss a break, and when we come back, we'll bring back Grapes for our Rally Cry halftime show. So make sure you stay tuned.